Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's life. I know it has been pretty much like forever since I last posted a video, and you're probably reading this title and you're going, you're a bit late, Sonal. As I said in my last video and I've said on social media, the past week I have been very busy, but I am back with my review of the G1 Climax 32. So, the last video I did, I looked at the first half of the tournament, so my MVPs in terms of the matches, what I expected going forward. And now that we've had the final and we've had the last set of matches, I am going to look through all of the second half of the tournament, semi-final, the final, and what we can expect going forward. Again, I apologise that I am late. I had to literally catch up with the semi-final and final later than normal. I was away until the Sunday, and this is really the first chance I've had. So let's get going. The last time I spoke to you guys, I sort of gave you a rundown of the matches, which I'm going to do now. But I also sort of told you my thoughts on the blocks. So the consensus back then was A block sort of disappointed me. B block stood out with some of my favourite wrestlers. C block, Naito, Tanahashi, Goto, the likes of that, was going to be an amazing block. Block D particularly surprised me. And I think the consensus has carried on until the end of the tournament. Yes, in Block A we had that phenomenal match between Okada and Jonah. Again, phenomenal. A shocking ending, seeing Jonah pin Okada in a crazy long match for somebody that size. But aside from that, and also, the match with Okada and Lance Archer, because I have loved having Lance Archer back, and I sort of wish they'd put him in a block less with just like big guys like himself and more with people like Tanahashi, Sanada, Naito, who he has had phenomenal matches with in the past. As much as like Block B was my favourite, because I told you Jay White, Sanada, Taichi, Ishii, like babes, Block D was truly the standout. And I'm just going to go through some of the matches because I've written it down, obviously. My bad, I forgot. Quickly, Yano versus Lance Archer was very funny. It was very reminiscent of Yano's match against Kenny Omega a few years ago. So basically, like, Lance Archer turned like the head on Yano with the tape. There was a young lion. It was all very funny. I thought I'd give that one a special shout out because professional wrestling traditionalists will not like Yano's matches. But for me, his matches in the A block were some of the best. So let's go for that. Block B matches, I'm trying to see which one we've got. Right, so Tama versus Taichi. The reason I've got this, not just because I love both those wrestlers, is the storytelling. It was a much more story-based match than compared to the others. Because it was the return of the Iron Fist. If anyone doesn't know the story, basically back when Asuka retired, Taichi took the Iron Fist or the Iron Glove. At this point, Tama was still a heel, so they had like a fight for it, and each of them went slightly crazy. So Taichi brought it into the match, trying to lead Tama astray from his good guy roots. I mean, even Jado was the same. Jado was like, don't do this. And it was just really nice. Also, considering how different their styles are, they worked really well together. And yes, I was sad that I wasn't sad that Tama got the win. I was sad Taichi got the loss because you know how much I love him. I am really excited to see more matches between these two guys as single wrestlers. We obviously saw them fight as G.O.D and Dangerous Tekkers back when G.O.D were heels. This will be a nice dynamic, especially considering how Tama Tonga is a phenomenal wrestler and never really needed to cheat, but now we are seeing him truly shine. Similarly with Taichi. Again with Tama Tonga, his match against Jay White was phenomenal. This was one of the last matches of the tournament. Both Jay and Tama had gone basically undefeated, and whoever won this, well, Tama had one loss, but obviously Jay had one loss, if you get me. It was a battle over who was going to get to the semi-finals, and it was everything that I always want from former teammate members. Io versus Sanada was disappointing. Sho versus Yo was disappointing. This was perfect. There wasn't much cheating from Jay. Tama had this, fire in him that I've not seen in a very long time. And rather than close off a storyline or keep people going, it has set a precedent for the future. So Tama obviously beat Jay and he now has a title shot set. It's nice when it happens this way rather than like just a match filled with cheating and that you just want to end, which is what I feel with the House of Torture matches and why none of them are on this list. I also want to give a shout out to Jay versus Taichi, two of my favourite wrestlers. Another great match. Like, I think Taichi against the heel is the funniest thing because he is automatically the babyface despite being in Suzuki-gun. He had so much fire. I think Block B was perfect for him. Guys like Sanada, Ishii, Tama, and now Jay, even Okan really brought the best out of Taichi. So, you know, I do. Block C. Oh, I don't actually have anything from Block C. Block C. Block C, I don't think there was any that started. They were all some phenomenal matches. Like, with the likes of Naito, Goto, and Tanahashi in the block, to name a few. Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr. They were some amazing matches. Actually, that's a lie. That's a lie. I said I wasn't going to have any House of Torture people in this. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil was the best, probably, match of the block. Mainly because they had one of the young lions come out. Zack had one of the young lions come out pretending to be him. Evil started beating him up before the ring. Zack came out like psych and basically beat him. I think it was in the shortest match of the tournament. So give a special shout out to that. Block D. Like, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this again and again and again. Standout block. We had El Phantasmo versus Yoshihashi. An amazing match. Two very different wrestlers, but brought the best of each other. We saw Yoshihashi flying. I love that. We saw El Phantasmo doing his stuff. Like, I loved that this tournament, we've not seen any of the backbreaking, the showboating. We have actually seen Phantasmo really want to do well. Shingo versus Ospreay. I can't even, like, whenever these two get in the ring, they put on match after match after match. Like, they have fought each other so many times, both as junior heavyweights, the best of Super Junior, and now as heavyweights. They are two of the most diverse and probably best wrestlers in New Japan. They combine storytelling and skill and speed and strength in the perfect way. And I was talking to someone about this. Ospreay might have changed his style, obviously adding a bit of weight and not as flippy compared to his junior days. But there was still so much speed and dynamic that you could have easily been watching two juniors, despite, you know, the big muscles and the big arms apart from that. And I think, let me see, which one did I say? Juice versus ELP. Again, didn't expect to like this match as much as I did. But I literally wrote a description because I'm like very worried I'm going to miss out what was so good about it. So basically it started off hilarious. Like, the crowd was loving it. They were doing this slow, like, showing technical, like, mat wrestling. You know, something out of like a comedy movie. Like, they were going like, whoa. They were doing like the jumps, the hitting the ropes and things. They were also having a bit of fun with Kenta Sato. God bless his soul. Like, he just had enough. He was like, pow, pow. Well, not like that, but he was wrestling them. And then after being cute, blah, blah, blah. After being cute, he stopped a pin that wasn't legal, so they pulled the pants. And then everything went a bit chaotic. There was an arm wrestling match on the outside. Then it got violent with tables, chairs. And it was just a very chaotic mix. Something that you wouldn't expect from Bullet Club. But Juice and ELP did it really well. In the end, ELP lost because he threw a chair at Juice. But yeah, a really good match. So after all of that shenanigans, my predictions went out the window, which is why I'm wearing a Roppongi 3K shirt because I can't wear a J one. We had Tama versus Okada and Ospreay versus Naito for the semi-finals. Two phenomenal matches. Like, I watched it a few days later. I think I watched this after the final had happened. I think I preferred Naito versus Ospreay because, one, it's a match we have never seen before, oddly enough. Like, I've never seen a singles match between them. I think we've seen one between Tama and Okada. But it was so good. There was so much psychology from Naito. And this is sort of, as much as I hate to say it, Naito and Ospreay are much more similar than we think. So, obviously, their personalities are completely different. We've got Tranquilo, Naito, and very fired up Ospreay. They both had similar careers. So, started as juniors, went to heavyweights, but they both have a style that blends the two. And still quite unpredictable. It was a great match, like, when a good amount of time, so not too long that people were bored, but enough to showcase all of their talent. And then Ospreay got the win, which I was really happy about because I feel like, yes, I wanted Naito to win because I think I had him and Zack after wanting Jay to win. But it was good because I think Ospreay deserves it. Then we had Okada and Tama, another amazing match. So going into it, I think even Okada was like, isn't this like a sure win? Yes, Okada did win in the end, but Tama really put up a fight. I think this is the first time Tama has ever got to a final of a G1. Obviously, it's a bit easier this time because it's not 2 blocks with like 10 competitors. But it's still a big thing for Tama, who in the past has either sort of brushed off the G1 and just cheated, not been involved because he wants to focus on tag team wrestling, or he's just been like mid-table. This, I think, despite losing to Okada, was probably a turning point for him. He had beaten Jay White. He was now going up against the best in the world, the best in New Japan, and really held his own. There were so many times where I was like, shit, Tama Tonga is going to win this. And I was rooting for him. Like, I love Okada, but something about Tama in the past few months has really hit home with me. I think he is a phenomenal wrestler. And he is... Sometimes the transition from heel to babyface doesn't work. Similarly, babyface to heel doesn't work. Tama is a bit like Robbie Eagles, where the move from heel to babyface was more natural, albeit a bit more extreme considering how long Tama has been a heel. And it just feels like he is in the perfect place now for his career. He can wrestle properly, but still have that little bit of an edge because there are babyfaces who have that. Yano, Naito, Okada, Tanahashi can even channel his inner heel when he needs to. And again, Okada is a phenomenal wrestler. Like, oh my god, I don't have enough good things to say about him. But Okada got the win and we had a final set for Ospreay versus Okada. Again, I can't not say enough how good New Japan is with their booking because this match, yes, it's 2 of the best wrestlers in the world, but there is a history. Who brought Ospreay to New Japan? Okada. Who was basically the big brother that Ospreay never had? Okada. Who was a mentor to basically everyone in Chaos, including Ospreay? Okada. And they've had their fights, but this was for something bigger. You could see the determination in both of their faces. And again, like most of the matches we've had, which I think has really showcased the diversity of New Japan's talent, it was a mix of speed, strength, agility, high flying. And particularly, Ospreay did some really good mind games. So if you notice, he did quite a few finishes of people who had beaten Okada, including a Styles Clash and an attempt at a one-winged angel, which is obviously Kenny Omega. And that would have played on Okada's mind because Okada, especially during that time, was pretty much unbeaten. He had beat Omega every time. His feud with Styles similarly. And it was really nice, subtle storytelling. And in the end, I think that the match went about 31 minutes. So again, not as long as I think we've had other matches or final, or maybe it was the longest. It's not as long as matches we've had at Wrestle Kingdom, but it had the right amount of essence in it, and it proved that, holy God, it's been a rocky few years for New Japan, but they are back with a vengeance. They had people on their feet. You could feel the atmosphere in the arena at Budokan, even though they couldn't cheer. Though in some of the matches, you could hear them. I could hear you, Japanese fans. I know you want to scream, but just wait a little bit longer. And Okada took the trophy and made his claim thank you for coming. I'm going to the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And we have technically set the Wrestle Kingdom show for January 4th, because it's back to one day, as Okada versus Jay for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, that will all depend. Jonah will probably try and get a stake at Okada's briefcase. Similarly, we've got Tama versus Jay for the title, and whatever happens between now and January. People have complained oh, we're getting Okada versus Jay again. One, it is not even that many times. I can't remember the last time they've had a singles match, especially in a big title setting. And 2, who doesn't want to see Jay and Okada again? Similarly to Ospreay and Okada, Jay and Okada's history goes back. Okada invited Jay to Chaos. Jay was if I need to, I will betray you. And Okada's and then he did. Took Gato, went to Bullet Club. They are, I think, a feud that might end up being as iconic as Okada and Tanahashi. Tanahashi and Naito. Naito and Goto. Just throwing in my baby Goto there. But again, it was a phenomenal, amazingly phenomenal show, and the whole tournament has really had, like, at first, I'm going to admit, I was a bit skeptical about the 4 blocks. It confused me at some points compared to the previous years, but it really allowed all the wrestlers to shine and have an equal chance of getting to the semi-final and final. Normally, I'm like, well, let me tell you my favourite matches, standouts. I've told you them all. There are so many amazing matches this year that I almost feel I can't pick any. But what I can pick are my MVPs. So, MVPs. Yoshihashi. My guy has been putting on some amazing matches. So, like, well done, Yoshihashi. Taichi, again, putting on solid matches. Zack Sabre Jr. and Okada. I can't even miss Okada out. I feel like this year has been one of the strongest G1s in a long time, and I'm so excited to see what happens next. So what's coming up next? We have some huge title matches. So Finlay, I forgot Finlay. David Finlay did really well in this tournament. Finlay has got a match against Ospreay for the US title after beating him in the G1. We have Tama versus Jay for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. We have Tanahashi versus Carl Anderson for the Never title. I didn't actually know that, so I've just checked that now. Plus a whole heap of very good tag matches, special singles matches. Oh, apparently the IWGP Junior Tag titles will also be on the line. Okay, so TJP and Francisco Akira are going up against a team of 6 and 9, Wato and Taguchi. I did not know that. And there is a match for the IWGP Tag Title contendership between Dangerous Tekkers and Sanada and Naito, which will be interesting. We also have loads of other shows. So coming up, we've got the Royal Quest show in London, and I'm posting this on the day that the tickets come out, so you will know on social media if I got them or not. There was the announcement of the IWGP Women's Championship, and the rest of the year is going to be phenomenal. With Wrestle Kingdom only a few months away, but New Japan is packed, and I'm so excited for the future. So that was my video of my albeit late G1 review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the tournament as much as I did, and I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments, let me know on social media at wrestling_chat what you thought of the tournament. Who were your MVPs? Which matches stood out the most? And what did you think of the results? Because I honestly think it was one of the best tournaments we've had in a while. So remember, follow me on social media at wrestling_chat. Hit like, comment, and press that subscribe button. I'll be back very soon, and I'm again sorry that this is a bit late. Bye!